Hi everyone, today we're going to look at how to bisect or cut an angle in half, and it's basically a continued step from cutting a line in half. So if we remember, when we cut a line in half, we put the compass on the edge of the line or the end point. You want to go a little bit past the middle or you won't be able to really find it correctly. And you make an arc, and you go to the other side and you do the same thing. And when you find the intersection spots where the two arcs meet, here and here, if you connect them, you can find the middle, or you can draw a line, which is what we call a perpendicular bisector, because it not only bisects or cuts it in half, but it makes 90 degrees. So in looking at it, drawing an angle and cutting it in half, we're doing the same thing. There's just one more step added. So we start with an angle, and we want to cut it in half. So one thing to consider, we're going to draw a line and cut that line in half. But what would happen if we cut this line in half if it was crooked or uneven? So I'm going to make an uneven line. So this side is much smaller than this side. And if I were to find the middle of that line, I'll just estimate to make it quicker. The middle of this orange line is about right there. Right, so if I found that and connected it to the center, we can see that this side is bigger, or the angle is larger, and this angle here is smaller. So if we have an uneven line or a crooked line, when we find the middle of it, it won't find the middle of the angle. So that one extra step we're going to be doing will actually be giving us an even spot. And then I'll show you quickly how we're cutting a line in half, but then the last construction I'll show you is how we do it without drawing that line, because you don't really need to draw this extra line. So the very first step is we're going to put the compass point on the vertex. It doesn't matter how much open and closed the compass is. Somewhere kind of in the middle might be good. If you close the compass too small, it's a little more awkward. Too big is actually not going to matter, so I'll leave it up here. So the first step is to draw this arc. So the whole purpose of this is to give even amounts. Here and here are now even. So if you imagine, what we're really doing here is, if you connect these two spots where the arc touches the angle, we have a line. Oops, sorry. So now that these are even, if I cut this line in half, it'll cut the angle in half. So that's what an angle bisector is really doing. It's kind of drawing, we don't draw the line, we're going to have an invisible line and continue with the next two steps, which are the same steps as cutting a line in half. So the next step is to go a little bit past the middle and draw an arc, and go to the other side and draw an arc. So if we connect here and here, it'll give us the middle. Or we can connect here and here, these two, or the top one and the bottom one, the vertex. When we connect these spots, we are given the angle bisector, or the middle. So again, basically the idea is, the first step is to get an even spot. We really don't even need to use a compass. We could draw 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters. Then we can find the middle of that line and then connect it. But the compass functions as something that helps us to find something that's the same distance. So if we looked at the arc we drew, from here to here is the same distance now as from here to here. So all of that is to kind of help you understand it better, so you don't have to try to memorize it. So let me show you how much quicker we can do it without doing every step. So I'm going to start with an angle, and I want to bisect it. So the first step is to draw an arc to get an even spot on both lines. So here to here. And again, I'm cutting this line in half, but I don't have to draw the line. So I'm going to go what I imagine is a little bit past the middle, and I can draw an arc, and I can go to the other side and repeat that. And it's a little bit off. I could make it a little bit larger. So now again, we can see here and here they connect. I'll connect this one to the vertex. You'll see it also goes through the second one, the second point. And now I have an angle here and here that are congruent. Now a lot of times we won't even draw this whole arc, we'll just draw the top one. So we'll do one more just to show you. I'll try to make this one obtuse. And again, we're going to do it in 2 steps. We're going to draw an arc that gives even spots on both of the lines. Then I'm going to move the compass a little bit past what I think is the middle, and I'll just make the arc on top. Now I'll go to the other side and just make the arc on top. So we don't need to use the arc on the bottom as well, because we already have the end point here. We already know where it's going to end. So we can use just one point and cut it in half. This is how we bisect an angle. Now that we've done that, we can create different patterns. We can take something with 4 circles and cut it in half to make 8 circles. Sort of like this pattern I've been working on. So this is an 8-sided star. And we've looked at the flower of life, which is the 6-sided star. So these can help you to make some mandalas as well, but the main purpose is to draw an angle and cut it in half. Hope that helps you. Good luck.